If you are finding that you're having difficulty going from one octave to the other, for example, going from a middle octave to a low note, or from a middle octave to a high note, then what you need to work on is lip flexibility. So a really quick summary is that we actually have to use a slightly different embouchure for our low, middle, and high registers. You can't use the same embouchure for a high C as you do for a low C. If you do, it just doesn't work. If I try that, this is what it sounds like. The low note just doesn't come out if I'm set for the high, and vice versa. If I'm set for low and try to use it for the high note, that doesn't come out either. So you have to slightly adjust your embouchure depending on where you're playing in your music. The more drastic the change or how far apart the notes are, the more change that you have to make suddenly in your embouchure. And that can be really difficult to do. To build that skill, a lot of times I will ask students to work on octave slurs. So when you're working on octave slurs, you want to slur from the lower note to the higher note, but then you also want to do the opposite, from the higher note to the lower note. So it'll look something like this. I'm going to start on a low A. So I'm going to point my embouchure slightly down for the lower note and slightly more across for the higher one. Then I'm going to try the opposite, going from the higher note to the lower note. And you can see how I start more across and then point the air down for the lower. So if I do both, when I feel like that's pretty smooth, I'll move to the next note. Don't like that one. And I'm really focusing on that split second change when I'm going from one note to the next note, whether that's low to high or high to low. I'm really focused on what exactly has to happen as that change happens. Is my embouchure moving more across? Is it moving more down? Am I speeding up the air? Am I slowing down the air? But in that split second between one note and the next note, I have to make that very quick change. So if you are having trouble slurring from low notes to high notes to low notes, or even articulating those notes, you still are going to have to make that embouchure air direction change between whichever notes that you're trying to play. And those octave slurs can help you get there. So right now I'm offering a free trial lesson for new students. So if this is something that you would like more assistance with, you can find the sign up link in the description.